here with you, live in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are continuing to expand our platforms. We are still Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. You can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on Radio, the Dropbox will appear, and click on New Life. Every broadcast will be available to you, and we are here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to say, for all of our listeners and viewers who are new to the broadcast, I'm Pastor Pope, and we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is our FijiWater.com sponsored studio. We are live from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. every Monday through Friday right here to discuss every topic that is important to you and every issue of life that you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. And our broadcast is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And right now, if you order a one-time subscription from Fiji Water, you will receive a 25% discount on 2 cases or more. It is not a subscription, just a one-time order of 25% off of 2 cases or more at FijiWater.com. Your code is SPRING, because spring has sprung at FijiWater.com. And for all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you to discuss every topic that is important to you, every issue of life that you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate, right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And so, I'm going to say to all of our listeners and viewers, as you know, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. You can also go to RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-faith to listen 24 hours a day to music that will encourage you, that will empower you, and that will inspire you to become the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. We are WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. Go to www, but you can go straight to RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-faith. And you will be able to hear music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you will begin to hear segments that will be added to the broadcast, to our radio network also. But we encourage you to stay tuned in. We don't want you to miss a thing. So be with us every day in all of our platforms so that you can hear segments that will enhance your quality of life. We will be having with us our monthly contributor, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, who will be with us as we begin live streaming. Also, her contributor on health and wellness every first Thursday of the month. This month, this is the first week of the month. We may have her coming on the second week of the month, on the second Thursday. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed. We don't want you to miss anything that is going to enhance your health and wellness, your quality of life, your mental health and wellness, and of course your finances. We want to make certain that everyone is financially strong, that financially empowered. And then, of course, we will touch on entrepreneurship for those of you who are business owners or those of you who choose to begin to launch a business. We want to make certain that we empower you in any way that we possibly can. I'm going to address the communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your family refuses to make improvements in their life. However, you have been working to make a better life for yourself, and you really wish that they would do the same. So let me say this first of all. First and foremost, to God be the glory, you're working on you. That's the first step. You're working on building a better life or making a better life for yourself. I'm always going to encourage anyone who is interested in building a better life for themselves, making a better life for themselves. Everyone knows I'm a legacy guy, but I'm also focused on each and every one of us being a better version of ourselves. We're all about that at New Life. We're about people experiencing a better quality of life. You've made a decision now to work on yourself. The first thing you have to know is that what you do will become an example to your family. So we work on ourselves, and then those around us begin to see the changes we make, the progress, the improvements that we make, and the progress that we make. So the people around you begin to emulate what you do to improve their quality of life. So that's the first thing. You lead by example. You become the example. You begin to set the standards because you're making a better life for yourself. And the fact that you say they refuse to make improvements implies that you've discussed with them about the steps necessary to improve their lives. Once you've had that conversation, that's all you can do. Sure, you can continue to have conversations with them as they inquire about certain things, but here's the reality. So often people around you see the improvements that you make in your life, and to them, it's just you making improvements. Because they're still living their lives the way they've always lived their lives. But eventually what happens is they start to take notice of the improvements. They start to take notice of the progress that you make. And then and only then will they begin to emulate. Their eyes have to be wide open. They have to be able to see the progress that you're making. And then when they see the progress that you're making, they will begin to emulate. So I want to break this down a little further, because I have to go back and address a communication that came in it came in over a week ago, and I addressed it yesterday at the very end of the broadcast, and I got a communication from them yesterday saying, could you expound on that just a little further? And I'm going to go back and do that. But it doesn't matter if it's your children, it doesn't matter if it's your siblings, it doesn't matter if it's even your parents. People are accustomed to living life one way. And it's the way they've always lived, and they continue to live that way. They may see that you want to make change. They may see that you want to do more. And because they're so busy living their lives, and I'm going to use this analogy that I always use, the wrong way, they don't really see the right way to live it. They don't really see that there's a better way. All they see is that you're working to make some change. But until they start to see the results of the improvements, let me go there first. The improvements that you make. They see you making some progress. And they go, I thought of my grandson, because every time you say something to him, he does this. He thinks about what he sees and what you say. They see you with the desire to make change. They even see some of the improvements that you're making in your life. And they go, But until they see the progress of those improvements, they don't emulate. They keep doing what they've always done. And I've always said this. People do things the wrong way for so long, they think it's the right way to do them. They think that their lives are not going to get any better, so they refuse to make improvements. They think that life is just the way it is, and this is just the way we have to live life. And the reality is, that's the wrong answer. It's the wrong way to live. I'm not saying they're hurting anyone other than themselves and the generations to come after them, but they really don't understand that if you're not doing things that are going to lead to improvements and progress, it's the wrong way to do them. We can live, but we can't have life and have it more abundantly. So we've got to constantly be making improvements or enhancing the quality of our lives. And then as we make progress, people who look upon our lives will say, I see something different about what you're doing. I see that you've put in some work to accomplish some improvements. I see that you've put in some work to make some progress. Now I need to know what you're doing and how you're doing it so that I can emulate what you're doing and the way you're doing it. So you've just got to keep moving forward, making a better life for yourself. And I understand you're concerned about them because you realize that life could be better for them, but you can't allow that to become a distraction. You have to keep moving forward so that they can make a decision that they want a better quality of life. That they're willing to do what needs to be done to improve the quality of their life. That they're willing to make some changes that would require them. Change requires action. So they're willing to do what is required of them to maximize their success. Change will come. The experience of enhancing your life will come from the change. The progress is the end result. So we have to begin with the end in mind. You've begun to work on making a better life for yourself. When they see the results, some of them will begin to emulate and begin to do things in a way that is going to allow them to experience the results that you're accomplishing also. And that's a better quality of life. That's success professionally. That's success personally. A better quality of life. Working to experience the fullness of God. That's a better quality of life. But it requires work. And I've said this so often, I'm sure I'm going to say this, continue to say this. The reality is that we have to work out our salvation. We can't just sit down and become a spectator and say, I'm saved. It's not good enough. It's not what God had in mind for us. He had in mind for us to be saved. It's his desire that none shall perish. Some will perish. But he didn't expect us to sit down once we're saved and become a spectator to salvation. He expects us to work out our salvation and become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. What you're doing is beginning the process to help rise the tide of your family so that it'll lift all boats in your family, that everyone can rise with the tide. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't be distracted by the fact that you say they refuse to make improvements that will lead to a better quality of life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So I'm going to revisit for a moment the communication that we discussed yesterday, where our listener and viewer reached out to me because you said, could I spend a little more time on the fact that, you know, your brother is being challenged by his children, who you work with your brother, you work for your brother, his children work with him also, and he's finding it very difficult. He's constantly, I won't say complaining, but discussing it with you, and that you said that, you know, he finds it challenging that his children think that they're smarter than he is. They may be more informed in some areas, and you wanted to know if I would address it a little further. And I got to tell you that I also got some communications from some other people who said that they work in family businesses also. They understand that challenge. Listen, I said this yesterday, and I have some more communications to go through, so I can't spend a lot of more time on this today, but I do want to say this. Your brother's been running his business for 30 years, a little over 30 years now. And he's been successful at it. So you said you're going to have him tune in today also, so I'm going to say this. Don't be frustrated that your children think they're smarter than you are, because we want them to go to another level of intellect, an intellectual level that will surpass what we've accomplished. But at the same time, you've been running this business and you've been working with your brother in this family business that he started 30 years ago and survived the pandemic. So the younger generation has something to add to the equation. What you've got to really sit them down and discuss is their only responsibility now that they've graduated from college and they're working in the business is to find areas where they can enhance the business. I mentioned that yesterday. How can they expand the business? That's their primary responsibility now. Yes, they've got to show up to work every day, and they've got to participate, and they've got to be actively engaged in the business, and they're working in the business now also. But can they expand your technology performance? Can they expand your technology platform? Can they take the business to another level by expanding in even a second location? You're trying to prepare them to take over the business, and right now they're telling you how smart they are. And the reason they're telling you how smart they are is because they think not just that they're smarter than you, but they think you don't recognize how smart they are. But you do recognize it. That's why you brought them into the business. If you didn't think that they were capable and competent, you would have had them go and sell suits or something else. And that's what they don't understand. This isn't, you wouldn't bring them in to mess up the business. But now they come in and they think they've got all the answers. Don't worry about that. Don't let that be a distraction for you. They're no smarter than you are when it comes to running the business. When it comes to being competent to run the business. They're not smarter than you in that area. You've been running it successfully for over 30 years. But they have something to add to the equation, and that's what they have to realize. Stay in their lane, and they need to learn from you how to move the business forward for the next 30 years. That's what they really need to do. They need to focus on learning every aspect of the business. That not come in and think, we need to reinvent the wheel, not come in and think that they should be taking over right now. They're not ready to take over. What they're ready for and prepared for is to learn the business itself and to enhance the business in areas that they can enhance the business. And if it becomes too much of an issue for you, then what you may need to consider is opening another location so that they can run that location effectively and efficiently, hopefully. And then they'll find out for themselves just how difficult it is to do what you've done for over the last 30 years. It's been difficult, it's been challenging, it's been difficult, and you've survived all of that. Because you had a plan, you had a vision, you've worked the plan, and now they have reaped the benefits of that. So don't let that be a frustration, a point of contention or frustration for you. Just keep doing what you've been doing, and then prepare them, groom them for what is to come. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to maximize the success that you've already started for your family. You're 30 years into this. And they need to understand that those 30 plus years that you've been in this, you've been able to build a business that is successful. All you're asking them to do now is learn the business and grow the business and expand the business so that when you've gone home to be with the Lord, that your labor won't be in vain, that they will be able to continue moving the business forward. And here's the good news for you. I'm going to share with you, as I was prayerful about this before, I commented on it yesterday, and I want you to know this. In the end, they're going to be capable and, watch this, and willing to carry on this business for the next 30 years. They'll be able to match the time that you put in. They'll be able to carry this on, and hopefully they will have children who will have the same desire, the same heart's desire to carry the business on for generations to come. And to God be the glory. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Terrett, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. And if you're not in those areas, you can order from Charles Terrett at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company. located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from the White Company. Also, they too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you find it difficult to get along with your boss. And you're wondering if it is time for you to move on. You know, the simple answer to this is no. It's not time for you to move on. Ask yourself this question: how many people have you seen come and go in that same position? The boss you have now is not going to be in that same position forever. Just like the ones who have come and gone. This one will come and go also. Will depart also. The question you really want to ask yourself is, why not you at the next level? What can you do to prepare yourself for the next level? And why have you been there long enough to see so many come and go? 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years. You've seen come and go. And yet, why not you? Why not you move to the next level? These that have come and gone, you've been there a long time. You've been there for a very long time. And you've seen them come and you've seen them go, and you've seen them come and use that platform to get their next position. You've seen this. But why not you? What you need to focus on now is not that you don't get along with your boss. You need to focus on what that position would require of you to be the next one up, the next person up. Because realistically, you've been there a long time, right out of college. You've been there a long time. And you will be there a lot longer because you've been there so long. You've been there and you've done the job effectively, the job that you've been in for a very long time. You've moved through a couple of steps along the way. However, you've had bosses come and bosses go. Perhaps it's now time for you to be the boss. Why not you? Pull your boss's job description. So everyone's heard me say this. In a Sunday sermon, I preached about this. Do your job description every day. Pull your job description, do your job description every day. If something else is asked of you, do that also. It's only going to increase your skill set. But in addition to that, look at your boss's position, the person you report to. Look at their job description. I guarantee you, if you can't find the internal job description, you can find a job description similar to theirs online somewhere. That's another one of the great things about the internet. And begin to find out how you can do that job. In other words, look at the skill set that it takes. Is there additional education that's required? Is it additional certification that's required? If not, what is it that is the job description for the person who sits in the seat above me? And begin to do some of those responsibilities. Take some pressure off of your boss. How can I help? You don't have to ask that question, but you can see where you might be able to fill in some gaps so that it takes some of the workload off of the person who's sitting in the seat above you. Not because you want to take their job, but because you want to be ready when they leave that position. You want to be prepared so that you're not passed over. That you're not passed because you're not prepared. because opportunity favors the prepared mind. Go through the job description. Find out what they do so you know how to do it, so that you're the next person up. Ask yourself that question. Why not you? Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. Remember, we are Facebook Live. We're YouTube Live. We are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. Go to radio.